we have discussed about what are the HDFS daemons, what are the MapReduce daemons, what is the difference between Hadoop before 2.0 and Hadoop from 2.0 onwards. So this is what we have discussed in previous session. Okay, in today we are going to see Hadoop file system. How and what is the file system we are using in Hadoop, and how we are going to access the data from the Hadoop file system. Okay, so that's we are going to discuss in today's session, right? The topic is the Hadoop file system and how to access. Okay, how to access HDFS, right? This we'll discuss in today's session. Okay, so in the previous session I told that we used to have some bunch of disks like this, right? So we are calling this bunch of disks as data nodes. So these are the data nodes. So the actual data which we are going to write is written into these data nodes. So the reference of the data is written into the name node, and job tracker resides in the machine where name node is available, and these are the data nodes where we are going to write our actual data. Correct? So this is we have discussed in the previous session, and we have seen what is a master, what is a slave, so what are the HDFS daemons, and what are the MapReduce daemons, what is a yarn. Okay, so this we have discussed. Now we see here in today's session I'm going to see how we are going to access the files in a cluster, how we are going to access the files which are available in Hadoop file system. So when it is coming to the Hadoop file system, suppose we have a Windows machine is there. So what we'll say, it is NTFS file system or FAT file system, right? So wait, when you are going to create a documents, you are going to copy some audio, songs. So everything is available under the files top of the file system. So we are going to store, we are going to write the data. The same thing now, we have some multiple disks are there. So in consider this is a one disk. So what I did, I have installed operating system in this disk. When I install operating system, either if you configure it with the Windows or you configure it with the Linux. So if it is a Windows, you will get NTFS or the FAT file system. If it is a Linux, you will get the Linux file system, right? So on top of the Linux, I have installed the Hadoop. So when you configure the Hadoop, we'll get the HDFS file system. So we call this as a local file system. It's a local file system, so which is available operating system level. So the complete control about the files are given to the operating system. Now when we install Hadoop in this disk, right, so we are going to get Hadoop file system, which we call it as a HDFS, Hadoop distributed file system. So now if you want to write a job, if you want to write a program in Hadoop, so what we have to do, first we should make the data available in HDFS. Once the data is available in HDFS, we can able to process the data. Okay, so now this is the operating system level, we are having the local file system, and this is the when you configure Hadoop, so we get HDFS file system, Hadoop distributed file system. Now we can able to copy a file from the local file system to HDFS file system, as well as we can able to copy a file from the HDFS to local file system. Okay, so now what we are saying now, local file system, and this is a HDFS file system. So to access the local file system, generally we use the representation file colon triple slash. Okay, so with this one, I'm going to the CDH4 and CDH5 environment. I'm taking a terminal. Okay, so take a terminal. Now click ls. Now, so these are the files which are available operating system level, right? So we call this as a local file system. See, if you type pwd present working directory, right now I'm in a home Cloudera, and these are the files which are available in a local file system, right? So the local file system means the files which are at the operating system level. If you want to access this local file system, so we can access using a browser and take a new tab. If you write file colon triple slash, so now we are going to access the local file system. So right somewhere in the home at Cloudera, so we have the documents available. Right, suppose from the terminal, if you want to access the local file system from the Hadoop, so run the command Hadoop space fs hyphen ls, then write file colon triple slash. Right, so we use file colon triple slash to access the local file system. Right, so these are the files which are available locally. Means these are the files which are available under the operating system level. So this local file system can be accessed with file colon triple slash. Now if you want to copy a file from the local file system to HDFS, now the file physically available in HDFS, so we can access this HDFS file system or the files which are available in HDFS with a representation called HDFS colon slash slash, then write the host name of the machine or host name of the name node or IP address of the name node. Okay, so host name colon, then write the name node port. Okay, HDFS colon slash slash host name colon name node port. Then the directory which is dedicated for the users to create a files and folders, that is user Cloudera. So like suppose, see in Windows, whenever we have downloaded a file, by default that will move to the downloads directory. Suppose if you copied if you created a document, so that will be saved into the documents directory. The same way in a Hadoop, so the user Cloudera, under the user Cloudera, all the files and directories created by the user are available. So if you copy a file or if you create a directory, the directory by default created under user Cloudera. So to access a file system which is in HDFS, then we have to specify the host name of the machine which you configured as a name node. That is, now this is the name node, right? So we know that all the slaves are connected to the name node. Right, so in this one each machine is having its own host name, each machine is having IP address. Right, now we need host name of the name node. So how to know the host name? So take a terminal. In the terminal, if you write cat space slash etc slash hosts, so you'll get the host name. So in my case, I have configured Hadoop in a pseudo distributed mode. So my host name is something 127.0.0.1. It can be a local host or it can be a localhost.local domain. So we can use any one. Either you can use this one or you can use this one, you can use a local host as a host name to represent the host name. So now I'll write here something to access a file in HDFS. So I'll write HDFS colon slash slash. What is the host name? Local host colon, right? Name node, by default name node is available on the port number 8020. You have to remember this, right? most of the times, right? Name node is available on the port number 8020. In 8020, so we have user, then Cloudera. Then the directory or the file which is created by the user. Suppose if I have created a directory, then it will be Ajay directories available. So how we access this Ajay directory means we have to write HDFS colon slash slash host name of the name node and the port number of the machine name node, and then the location where the by default user files are the directories are available. So it's a default location. Suppose if you're taking the Hadoop from the Cloudera, by default every file or every directory created by the user will be stored into user Cloudera Ajay. So see here, now I'm taking a terminal. Now I want to see what are the files are available in a local file system. We run the command ls. Now I want to see the files which are available in HDFS file system. Then just write Hadoop space fs space -ls. So it's a Linux command ls. For this Linux command, I am adding a prefix Hadoop space fs. Then this command becomes a Hadoop command. Now, so if you write Hadoop space fs -ls, it will list the files which are in HDFS file system. Right? Clear? ls local file system, Hadoop space fs-ls is a HDFS file system. Right? Suppose if I created a directory Hadoop space fs-mkdir. Right? So I'm going to create a directory with the name Tahir. Press enter. Now, so I didn't specify the path. So by default, where this Tahir directory is going to be created, right? This Tahir directory, what is the default location? User Cloudera. So whenever you create a directory, by default Tahir directory is created under user Cloudera. Suppose I'll take a file, clear. If you type ls, you will get the local file system. So I'm taking some file icc.java, right? You go to any directory, you can pick one file. Okay, so now copy this file, run the command Hadoop space fs-put is a command which copies a file from the local file system to HDFS file system. That is the command Hadoop space fs-put, right? So the file which is available in local file system, we used to copy this file to the HDFS with the command Hadoop space fs-put. Right, so the same command I wrote Hadoop space fs-put, and I want to take I'm taking this input.txt. Okay, where I want to copy this file to the Tahir directory. So where this Tahir directory is created, by default, if a file or a directory created by the user is available under user Cloudera. So if you write user slash Cloudera slash directory, that is Tahir, press enter. Right, now the file input.txt is copied to the directory Tahir. Right, suppose if you want to check the files, then you have to write Hadoop space fs-ls, and what is the directory? User Cloudera and Tahir. To see the files in the directory, so we have to run the command Hadoop space fs-ls and the directory name where we want to see the files. Okay, now this is the file input.txt created by some user and copy to the directory Tahir directory. Right, so how I specified the location here? So here I use the command Hadoop space fs-put to copy the file, and then specify the file name, which file you want to copy, and specify the path in HDFS where you want to copy the file. Okay, now how we access this file? One thing is you can run the command Hadoop space fs-ls user Cloudera Tahir, or the same thing I can access like this. one thing is you can write Hadoop space fs-ls, then user Cloudera or Tahir, it works. Otherwise, you can use a complete URI, Hadoop space fs-ls, then HDFS colon slash slash. So what is the host name? The host name is the local host. And what is the port number of the name node? That is 8020. Right? Then what is the directory? Tahir. Where it is available? User Cloudera. Then you can write user slash Cloudera slash and then write Tahir. Press enter. Right, now see, we can able to see the file in the directory Tahir. In the first run, so we just specified only the path. Now in the second run, I have specified the complete path. Right? So just write HDFS colon the local host, then name node port, then the path for the directory. Suppose if you want to give the IP address here, you can give like this. What is the host name? That is 127.0.0.1 colon 8020. Right? If you don't know that, just stick a terminal, then write cat slash etc slash host. Press enter. Right? Now we can see here. You can use 127.0.0.1. Okay. Now press enter. Okay, so in this way we are going to access the files. So to copy a file, take a one file. I want to copy this icc.java. Simple. Just run the command Hadoop space fs-put icc.java. I want to give the complete path. So just write HDFS colon slash slash the host name. So my host name is localhost and port number 8020, then user Cloudera and then write Tahir. Now icc.java is a file which is copied to the Tahir directory. To see whether it's copied or not, so we have to run the command Hadoop space fs-ls. Now we'll have the two files. One is input.txt and other one is icc.java. To see the content of a file, we have to run the command cat. So just write Hadoop space fsfn-cat, then write the complete path and then file name icc.java. Press enter. Okay, now we can able to see the content of a file. So what is the command? That is fsfn-cat. Okay, and if you take HFTP or if you take WebSDFS, now with this HFTP and within WebSDFS, we can access the files from the one cluster to another cluster, even though both the Hadoop versions are different, right? So if it is the different versions of Hadoop running, right, different version of Hadoop running in both the clusters, so we have to use HFTP file system to access the files, or we have to use WebSDFS to access the files. So the HFTP is a file access method which provides only read. Means so the cluster 1 is having a 1.0, this cluster 2 is having 2.0. Then with the help of HFTP, I can able to read the file, but I cannot able to write the file. See, from this cluster, I want to copy a file to the cluster 2 with HFTP. It won't work. HFTP prefers read only between the two incompatible Hadoop clusters. Okay, and we have a WebSDFS file system is available which performs both read and write access between the two Hadoop clusters, whether they are having the same version of the Hadoop or whether they are having the different version of the Hadoop. So we use a method, we use a file access method, that is WebSDFS. With this, we can able to access the files between the two Hadoop clusters with a different Hadoop version. See here, I'm going to show a simple diagram, simple description here. Suppose if we use HDFS to access the files, HDFS always works on the RPC based communication. That is, HDFS uses a remote procedure calls where we can able to read or write the files in HDFS. But what is the condition here? Both the clusters are from where you want to read the data, right? So both the machines, both the clusters should have same Hadoop version, then only HDFS will work. Suppose if there is two different versions are available, then we have to use HFTP or WebSDFS. So HFTP works on HTTP based communication, which prefers read only, and this HFTP is a version independent, means so it can be any version in the two Hadoop clusters, but we can able to read the data, read the files with HFTP. And if you take WebSDFS, WebSDFS uses a HTTP REST based communication where we can able to read and write the data, read or write the files between the two Hadoop clusters, and even the clusters are running with the same Hadoop version, it works, or both the clusters are running with a two different Hadoop versions, no problem. We can able to read as well as we can able to write the data with the WebSDFS file system or WebSDFS accessing method, right? How we define this? So we have a configuration file is available, that is a core-site.xml. In this configuration file, we'll write a property. So the property it is fs.default.name. For this property, we specify web sdfs / localhost. That is, now in this particular machine, I'm going to use WebSDFS to access the files from the other location. Okay, hostname / 50070, where we can able to see the name node information, right? So if you see, you have to remember this port numbers 50075, where we can able to see the data node information. Okay, so if it is 50030, where we can able to see the job tracker information. And if you go through 50060, we can able to find the information about task tracker. And 50090 will give you the information about secondary name node, right? In the previous session, we have discussed about Hadoop daemons, right? So what we have a name node and some data nodes, and the job tracker resides in the name node, and the task trackers are available in a data node, right? Now you want to see the information about the name node, just open a browser, and so just connect it to 50070, then we can able to see the information about the name node. And you want to see the data nodes are the files which are available in SDFS, then you have to connect it to 50075, where we can able to see the files and folders which are available in SDFS. So simply I'm going to the environment, so I'm taking a browser window, right? In the browser I'm taking a new tab, so my host name is a localhost colon. So what is the WebUI for the name node? 50070. Just write the host name colon 50070. Press enter. Now see, we can able to see the name node information, right? So this is the name node in my cluster. right? In this name node IP address or the host name is this one, and the port is 8020, right? So this is started on this date and time, and this is a cluster summary. Like, so how the Hadoop cluster which we are working is configured, how many data nodes are there, right? From that, how many data nodes are working, that is how many data nodes are live, how many data nodes are dead, right? So the complete information about the cluster we can able to see in a 50070 WebUI. So most of 99% of all the Hadoop distributions, right? If you configure individually, or you're configuring with some, right, Hadoop distribution, so everyone 98% they will use 50070 for the name node, and 50075 for the data nodes, and 50030 job tracker, 50060 task tracker, 50090 secondary name node. You have to remember these port numbers. Okay, so now this is how much space we have configured for this name node, right? So the configured capacity and how much is available, and if you want to see the data nodes, then click on live nodes. Okay, I have right now in my, this is a one node cluster I'm using in a pseudo distributed mode. So there is only one data node is available. Live data nodes are one. So which is configured in a local host. So if you click this, now we can able to see the files are the directories which are available in HDFS. See, now you can observe here we are in 50075. Now if you click on user, then Cloudera, which directory we have created, Tahi, right? So now this is the Tahi directory, and so these are the files which are copied to the directory Tahir. Okay, so what I did, so first I have connected to the name node with the WebUI 50070. Here, see the option browse the file system. So if you click on browse the file system, we are going to connect it to the data node, right? So where we are having the HDFS, where we are going to store the data, right? I told, right, what we have in the data node, actual data is written into the data nodes, the file or whatever you are going to write. So the reference is written into the name node, and actual data which we are going to write is written to the data nodes. So in the data nodes, what we did, we have installed Hadoop. So when you install Hadoop, we get the HDFS file system. So each file physically available under HDFS. Now, right, so that HDFS information, and you want to see what are the files are there, what are the directories are there, and what are the privileges for that file and folder, when it is created, and if this file belongs to which user, and this user belongs to which group. So all that information would be written into here. So you click user, then Cloudera, then you can pick any directory, Ajay, right? So this is the name of the file which we have copied to the Ajay directory, and it belongs to the file type and the size and the replication factor for this file, and what is the block size which we are using in the cluster, and when it is created and time when we have created this. Okay, so this is the information about the data nodes. Now, if you want to see the job tracker, what is the job tracker port number? 50030. Okay, whenever you run a job, the job is taken by the job tracker, and we can able to see the job information. We can able to see the job statistics in this page. Okay, so when the job is running, so the job is taken by the job tracker, and the job is executed by the task tracker. So that is 50060 is for the task tracker, right? If any job is executed by the task tracker, that executing tasks, the running tasks information is written into the task tracker, And if you see the 50090, right, it's a secondary name node. The information about the secondary name node, right? 50070 is a one name node, and 50075 is for the secondary name node. Okay, and then job tracker and the task tracker. So if you write a map reduce job or Java program or SQL program or a PG program, whatever it may be, right, it's some job. The program here we say job. The job is taken by the job tracker, and the job statistics, right? Who created the job, when the job is created, how much job completed, so what are the configurations used by the job, what are the properties are used for that job, all the job information we can able to see in a job tracker page. So the job tracker page is 50030. And second thing, just try to remember as it is. The users are, that means we are not allowed to see the data directly from the data nodes. I'll repeat, the users are not allowed to see the data from the data nodes directly. We have to connect to the data nodes through the name node. It's a rule. Always we have to connect to the data nodes through the name node. Suppose, what is the data node port number? 50075. So if you write localhost colon 50075, now we can't able to connect to the data node. See, it will say something, right? Not phone 50075, or it will say some message, but we can't able to connect it to 50075 directly. So how to connect to this? We have to connect always to the name node. That is, first navigate to the 50070. Okay, right, navigate to the 50070. Now click the browse the file system. Suppose if you write 50075, see here, it will display some text, but we can't able to see the directories in HDFS because the users are not allowed to see the data in a data nodes. So we have to connect through the name node. So first open the name node WebUI and click on browse the file system. Then see here, we have connected to 50075, where under user, then Cloudera. So the files are the directories created by the user are available. FTP based access, it also works. Suppose if the Hadoop is available in a cloud, okay, so cloud in the sense, now we have, suppose if it is running on S3 server, then it will have its own access method which is supported by the S3. If it is running on EC2 cluster, so it have its own access method to access the files from the Amazon EC2 cluster. Okay, it's not mandatory that we always use HDFS to retrieve the files from the S3 server. So they will give you an access, the different specifiers they will give. So something s3.hostname.com slash, we use the represent file name to access the file from the S3 server, right? So that if you configure Hadoop in a cloud, that's then either it can be Amazon S3 server or Amazon EC2 cluster. So they have their own access methods to access the files from the cluster to our environment.
Okay.
Okay, now see here, we have two components are available. One is Hue, is which provides you the GUI, okay, and other one is a Cloudera manager. So in any Hadoop distribution, right, so if the people who looks to work with GUI, then we have Hue. This is one component which provides graphical user interface. where we can able to create the files, we can able to create the directories through the mouse click, we can able to copy the files. Okay, and if you want to write a Hive program, then we'll have editors are available, so the complete GUI kind of thing. For the admin part, so this hue is used for the developer part, right? We developers generally we work with the hue. Suppose you are an admin, you are a Hadoop admin, then we have to access name nodes, data node, right? How many data nodes are there, whether name node is running or not, the data node is running or not, job tracker is running or not, right? So that can be monitored by the cloud era manager. Okay, so this is used by the admins. Okay, we use GUI, Hadoop developers will use Hue for the GUI, and Cloudera Manager is used by the Hadoop admin to monitor the Hadoop cluster. Okay, now see here, I'm going to Cloudera Manager. Now username, Cloudera, and password is Cloudera. So default username is a password, Cloudera, and the default password is Cloudera. Click on login. Okay, now see what are the services running, right? HDFS is running in my machine, correct? So what is the health? It is running in a good health. So if you click on HDFS, right, so data node is available and good, with a good health, name node is running with a good health, and we have a secondary name node. These are the processes which are running under the HDFS domains. So if you want to click the information about the data nodes, then click on this one. Now see, this is the data node which is available in a local host local domain. Okay, you want to start at the stop, you can from this here we can stop this data node. Okay, so click on this localhost local domain. See, this is the IP address of the data node, and which this is the rack name, the default rack I'm using. So the system configuration which we configured, the name node, right? And what are the processes or the what are the services are running in this cluster? We can able to see, right? So this is all done by through the Cloudera manager. Now you want to see this data UI. Click, see here, data node WebUI. This one. So if we click this data node WebUI, then we are going to connect to the data node. Click on the name node. Then it is here name node WebUI. Click on this name node WebUI. Now we can able to connect to the name node. Okay, so just remember, Hue is for the GUI, Cloudera Manager for the admin, right? So these are available in Cloudera. Suppose if you are using Hadoop from the Hortonworks, right? We have Hue is available as a GUI. Then we use Ambari for admin role. Okay, so if we are using MapR, so then we use again Hue for the developer, and MCS MapR control system for admin. Okay, so now where we can able to see the information about the name node, data nodes. So apart from the WebUI, we'll connect to the Cloudera manager. So in the Cloudera manager, so we can able to see what the services are available, whether they are running or not. If they are not running, we can able to start, and if it stopped, we can able to start. If it is a start, we can able to stop that one, right? So now yard, you want to start the yard, then click on this start yard. Now I can able to run my jobs on the yard. Suppose if you want to use the map reduce, see here, these are the map reduce diamonds, right? So task tracker and job tracker are the part of map reduce, right? So both the task tracker is in a good health and the job tracker is in a good health. That is, now I can perfectly able to run a job. right? So what are the HDFS domains? If you click on this, so these are the HDFS domains, right? Data node, name node, secondary name node are the HDFS domains. What are the map reduce domains? Click here. Now you can see the task tracker and job tracker are the map reduce domains. Suppose what are the yarn domains or yarn processes? If you click on yarn, then we have resource manager, node manager, and job history server. So these are comes as part of the yarn domains, or you can say yarn processes. So now we can start HDFS as well as yarn as well as MapReduce through Cloud Data Manager. We can start as well as we can stop. And to see the information, if you click on any service which is running, now we can able to see the configuration and the properties and the status and health of that each and every process can be available in this page. Okay, so now yarn is stopped. That's it. Means there is no history server is running, there is no node manager is running, there is no resource manager is running.